Hello, everybody. Welcome to this. Oh, hello, everybody. Welcome to the live stream for the Monster Hobbies Model Car Garage. I hope you are all able to tune in. Here we go. I'll just eat the microphone. Treat me cruel. No, anyway. So I've kind of got the camera here set up in weird ways, but I just want to say a big thank you for helping me get up to the 1,000 subscribers. Without your help, I never would have got here, and that just means I'm getting closer to actually having this channel monetized. Now, I already have the Madcap Romanian channel monetized, but doesn't hurt to spread the wealth around, I guess. I don't know. But no, really, in these times, we all kind of need extra income because, well, a lot of things are really uncertain, as you all know. Anyway, I don't need to discuss that part, but thank you again. So, if you haven't seen it yet, I have released the special unboxing for our Paris 1910 AG taxi. And of course, that is always really cool. Hopefully, some of you guys can see that video, or everybody can see that video, really. Oh, I can see I got a bit of sunlight coming in on the screen over on this direction. Let's see here. Thing is, this camera, they didn't put the proper screw mount in the bottom of the thing for the regular camera screw mount to hook up to. They kind of put this really weird, I guess maybe metric thread, so it only went and threaded in about that much when it should have been like this. So it's tends to want to spin out of the way. But yeah, getting the sun over in that corner, that's not good. Also, the tripod is right up against the monitor, so you know how that all goes. Yeah, live stream. Who would have thought? Okay, yeah, so anyway, this was an amazing kit to unbox. Probably be a really good one to build too. I should get on that. So, for all those joining in, um, you can also type over here. Let's see. Oops, wait. Okay, there's a hello everybody for just putting up in that chat box off the side. Oh, I see we got another person watching this. So for the second person watching this, as I was saying, thanks for helping me get up to the 1,000 subscribers. I've just uploaded this video onto the page, so you can always check that out. So coming up in this week, I have another great unboxing video from model owned from my good friend James. This course is the past and the future. Maybe not the future, but you know. But anyway, this one was a monogram model, came out quite a few many times and quite excellent. Another easy one to build. It's got that typical, you know, four-piece motor that looks excellent. Good stuff. Another one that is coming up the week after is the Charlie's Angels van. Now, of course, this one is right from 1977. This is out of James' collection. I wish I owned it, but I don't. However, you know what? This one is still current. Revel just re-released it without the Charlie's Angels decals and not molded in pink. But anyway, yeah. So again, you can always get that at any point in time from here on out. Hopefully, I can bring some into Monster Hobbies online. And if you guys have ever checked out the website, it is here. I'll post it in the side: www.monster-hobbies.ca. So www.monster-hobbies.ca. So if you go on there, of course, I've got a whole load of categories off the sidebar. We're adding in new things every day, or every day I can get to the computer. Well, basically because I have a lot of things that used to be in the old brick and mortar store on the shelf that I never bothered putting online because, well, you know, it's a lot to put online. However, now that I have no more brick and mortar store and I am entirely online, guess what my job is? Yep, loading up a website. I've already got 6,000 entries up there, if not more. And that was just, well, 5,000 of those 6,000 was just basically what I already had online from before. So now there's a whole lot of more work. Here's another vehicle that's coming up a little later. Now, this is going to be an interesting video because this was done in the old technique of making a video because I got this last Christmas, Christmas 2020, sort of a gift to myself that my wife gave me, if you guys know what I mean. In other words, my wife doesn't deal with any of my hobby wholesalers, so I had to order it through my hobby wholesalers and then say, "Hey, give me this," and then leave the store while she went and bought it for me, my own store. How's that for customer service? Anyway, so I unboxed this in 2020 because I wanted to build it and do a whole bunch of build videos. And that didn't happen for time constraints, but could happen now in the future that I've got more time on my hands. So anyway, in that video, of course, I'm using the old format. So it's a 45-minute video with a lot of in it, unfortunately. However, though, you only have to bear that one more time, unless you're going to look up the old videos. But yeah, this one should be good. And you'll see my last year's Christmas excitement for it. Hey, maybe I could build it this Christmas. This Christmas, I built a Coca-Cola model. Okay, and then there's another thing too. Now, when we did the 500, or when we were at 500 subscribers, I said that when we hit 1,000, I would do the unboxing for this car, or you had your choice of the Taxi or the Lotus Super 7. So a lot of you voted on the Taxi, of course, so that's what I did for this one. So now I think we can unbox the Lotus on the or when we hit 1,500 subscribers. So there's another 500 down the road. And hey, since I hit 1,000, I'm already at 1,003 or 4. So that's not too bad. Another thing that I got that's cool is this book. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this. This is a classic car book that I had when I was a kid, made by Rand McNally. This thing's really good. They're how can I do this? Let's see if I can. So as you open it, of course, it's got a whole bunch of details about each of the cars, even a side drawing. Keep in mind this was kind of made for kids, but again, so what do we have here? A 1927 Maybach W-5. Comes from Germany, I guess. Maybach was founded in 1912 by Friedrich Schaffen on Lake Constance to produce engines for airships and airplanes. It turned to cars as a consequence of the armistice imposed on Germany in 1918. Its first engine was a six-cylinder, and this was adopted by the Dutch firm Spyker. Spykers are cool. They're vintage cars, and they got circular radiators. From engines, it expanded to complete cars, the body being built elsewhere according to the client's tastes. The designer was Karl Maybach, the son of the founder Wilhelm. He gave his cars large engines whose flexibility allowed the use of the gearbox to be reduced to a minimum. The W5's transmission only had 2 speeds, like the Model T Fords. First gear was for climbing steep slopes, and second gear, direct drive, was for starting and normal progress. Naturally, there was a reverse gear. The maximum power of the W5's engine was 120 brake horsepower at 2,800 revs. It had side valves operated by rockers and camshafts. The W3, which preceded the W5, was the first German car to have four-wheel brakes. Interesting. Maybach moved on from 6 cylinders to 12 in an attempt to match its competitors. Maybach, which for years was synonymous with elegance, stopped producing cars in 1945. In 1966, it was absorbed by Daimler-Benz. Ha, I did not know that. Anyway, yeah, so this book is pretty interesting. Got all kinds of cars, American ones, even going into France, Europe, Great Britain, and elsewhere. I've got another one of these that's all land speed records. So again, lots of nice fun stuff. So again, for those of you that are just joining us, want to thank you for helping us get up to 1,000 subscribers. Won't be too long before this channel can actually be monetized, and then I can quit my day job and just make YouTube videos all day long. Man, imagine that, 7 days of YouTube videos, or double it up even, make 14 days, which is really 2 videos every day for 7 days. Wow. Oh, I got a like. Thanks very much for liking this live stream. My first time being terrified in front of millions of people. Anyway, what else do we have? Again, coming up, we've got the 1977 Chevy van from Revel. This, of course, is on loan to me from my good friend James. My good friend James, who's out there. Hello, James. How are you doing? Hopefully, you're watching this. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, skill level 2 kit. This originally was a monogram kit. Revel just took it over again. Last issue was 2012, so that's this model. Maybe it'll come back out. There was one of these with a nice trailer pickup and a boat. Oh, no, wait, didn't have the boat. That was something else. This one came with a car trailer with no extra car in 2002. So again, nice little kit. I'm going to be unboxing it this Friday at whatever time it is in your country. But usually they come out around noon in Alberta, I believe. So I tried to get that to time out with people's lunch breaks. So you can watch, uh, 14-minute video and meet us in the chat room during your lunch hour and say hello. After that one, of course, we have the Charlie's Angels van coming up. This one again is on loan from James, original 1978 model. So again, very cool. Thank you, James. And beyond that, the Coca-Cola one. So let's see, this is already 12 minutes in the live stream. I've seen people come and go from 1 to 3 to 4 to 1. So thanks for the one for staying along. Oh, here's a second person coming in. So yeah, this Lotus Super 7, that should be our next video to unbox as a special once we hit 1,500 subscribers. So let's hope that channel can grow. What we really need is the watch time. So as you may know, YouTube, when they monetize you, they want 1,000 subscribers. So we've reached that goal, so that's good. After that, they want 4,000 watch hours. So I am at 3,409. It kind of fluctuates between that and 3,350. So I'm almost there. But that'll give me 2 monetized channels, the Monster Hobbies Model Car Garage and the Madcap Romanian one. But what's nice about the Model Car Garage, pardon me, as opposed to here, where is this camera? I'm supposed to look at the camera, so it's like I'm looking at you guys, but you can see my eyes are over here. Anyway, because I'm trying to see the screen, I can't put this right in front. Well, at any rate, yeah, the nice thing about the Model Car Garage is that it's a targeted channel for everybody that likes model cars, and I do enjoy being on there because I can talk solely about model cars, and I know that all my great audience out there, all of you guys that have supported me and subscribed up to this point and everything else, are in full attendance and watching it and also building models and the whole deal. So on that channel in the future, I plan to do more model kit builds, but I was having trouble trying to figure out how to film them. I've been watching all kinds of other YouTubers and how they build models for YouTube videos. There seems to be a few different styles. So first off, you've got the one like HPI guy does, where it's like, hello, I've got this model here, and you never see his face, you only see his hands. But he says, I've got this model here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this all out of the box. And I'm going to lay it all out. Okay, here's a part, here's a part, here's a part. Now I'm going to go paint this thing. And here, look, here's how it is all built, like here it is here. It somehow turned in from a model car into a camera. Well, I don't have, see, I paint with um, trim clad paint, which is all enamel base. So enamels, as you know, take about a week to dry. So I can't just paint an undercarriage and then start gluing stuff on top of it. And I do believe the only way our HPI guy is doing that is by using acrylics. But of course, he has the airbrush set up. Now I've got an airbrush, but it's the old, bottle is here, trigger is there, and it just puffs the air up through. And that little airbrush, of course, I don't have an indoor spray booth, so I'm outside on the back porch. So if it's -40, that thing is not going to work. Neither are the spray cans. So, and again, it's cleaning the air gun and all the rest. So it's a lot easier for me just to grab a can of spray paint and spray it. But being enamel, it's going to take a week or more to do. So I can't really just be like, hey, here's my video. We're going to just pull everything out of here and there it is. And now in 10 minutes later or whatever, you got to finish model because my paint dry time is too slow. And yeah, with enamels, if I'm doing something like masking, I want that enamel paint to dry for about a week and a half, maybe even a month, or in some cases, 15 years. Just because I've got like 500 models in the basement and all of them are about halfway through, except for these ones that I review because I haven't even touched those yet. But how many are in that same boat? Raise your hands or leave a comment here in the chat box. But yeah, so I can't really do it in that format. So then I tried another format where it was like I was going to try to do a from start to finish, just building. And then again with that dry time, you sort of start to film something and then you're waiting for it to dry. So as you're waiting for it to dry, you tend to forget that you were doing that. And then it's sitting there in your dry booth getting dust on it because it's been sitting there for 3 weeks or a month or 5 months or all summer or 5 years. And so basically trying to get it done that way is another thing. So the third way that I see that people build models on YouTube is that they will do a video for like 5 minutes, and this is number one of my build. Then they come back a week later with another 5 or 10 minutes of here I am building the next part, and then the next. So I'm kind of thinking, and again, to get those view watch hours to go that route. But again, I mean, I've got so much to do with putting in stuff online on the website. So that's www.monster-hobbies.ca. Now, luckily for all you guys, I have all my model cars up there, but sadly, it isn't what it used to be because I have hardly any left. I mean, I've got photographs of the old store. Now, we've had many locations. So again, I don't figure like my house being in the house here now with the business means that I've lost my business since all closed because when we first started, we started off in the flea market up at Blackfoot Trail in Calgary. I don't know. Raise your hands if you remember that. Anybody tuning in from Calgary or Alberta? We started off in a flea market and we started with a little booth. And the reason why I started there is because I belong to a model car club up in Calgary. And one of the guys that was in the model car club had a little flea market booth. And then I ended up my grandma had passed away and I ended up with an inheritance, which is long since gone, right into the business. Yeah. Be an entrepreneur, they said. So anyway, um, to make a long story short, I sort of bought out my friend's booth and started Monster Hobbies in the flea market. And that was in our first year. And then we moved down to High River because we have a house out here and it was close to just walk to the store and back. So we moved into a little place in an alleyway which was available, and that was only good so much. Hey, Peter Berg, sorry if I get your name wrong. Bergs said, "Yep, Blackfoot Trail, quite the saga. I still go up there to get Black Forest Woods." Oh, it's still open. Oh, that's cool. I thought it had like disappeared because back in 2004 when we started up there, it was big. It was huge. And then they cut down half of where the vendors were and then they cut it back a further half. And then by the time we were going to go, there was like hardly anything in there anymore. So, but I did like that place where they had the fish and chips and the Chinese food. Like food court was good. Always a way to spend all your hobby money when you're trying to sell making models. Go over to that food court and get some really greasy French fries. Like it's anyway. Yeah. So okay, so we moved into a little place that was Unit 2B on 107th Avenue, but it was in an alley. So, oh yeah, pierogies. Right on. So anyway, I'm getting distracted now. We were in that little place, And that was a nice store because it had a little corner store window that we could dress up. See, I love the stores with the store window. I like making the displays. I like showing people like this is model building and all that. So we were in there, and oh, I made I don't know if you remember this from the flea market there, Peter, but when I was in there, I had that life-size Frankenstein that I made. And I made this arm with a bungee cord inside so people could shake the hand, right? And a Halloween mask for a face, and I had these really long Halloween monster hands, and they were on a stick, so I could mount them inside under the sleeve and all this stuff. It was all made out of wood, heavy. I still got it. It's rotting away in the backyard. Perfect Halloween decoration, Frankenstein rotting away. Anyway, I had that. And a funny story. I had him, the Frankenstein, in the window. So, and right beside me was this woman that owned a flower shop. Or no, it was a nail studio or something like that. So, of course, we're in this alleyway, and the only way is in through this sort of back road. So I had the Frankenstein sitting in the window, and this then I went home at the end of the day, not thinking anything of it. So the next day, the woman from the nail shop comes in and she's like, "Oh my God, I was so scared last night." And I'm like, What happened?" Apparently, her and her friend. Okay, so you came in the alley this way, you could see the Frankenstein, but if you came in this way, you couldn't see him. So they came in this way. She went in her store, got a bunch of stuff that she needed at night, like at 7 or 8 or 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock, whenever, and it was dark, really like pitch dark. So her friend, they got back in their car, they went down the alley, and our friend turned around inside the alley, hit that front window with the high beams on, and there was a Frankenstein like ah in the store, and they screamed their head off. I wish I was there with a camera. That would have been awesome, but I got to hear about that the next day. That was a great prank. But eventually, the Frankenstein arm broke because people were going on it and they were going, "I'm shaking his hand. Look." It was a great photo op, though, but busted the thing because the wood inside, I had to use a very thin plywood and it just cracked. And I wanted to redesign that Frankenstein, but never really got going. Oh, pardon me. I got my dad's old BTL desk. He got it. They were getting rid of these things and he got it back in the 80s. But it's got this chair that does this. So as my wife says, she can hear it like 5 houses away outside. It drives her crazy, but anyway, okay, so, outside of the fun times, what else? Okay, so we had the store at, 107, but that was in the back alley, and again, it's never good when you're trying to go home at the end of the day, and people are hanging out in the back alley to do, God knows what, because well, in Canada now, some of the old drugs that were illegal are now legal. So I don't think people are selling them in the back alley, but back in 2004, that was quite a bit of a thing when you're trying to go home at the end of the day and you're carrying a coin box, and there's guys out there buying stuff out the side of car windows. Yeah. So we eventually got out of the alleyway. We got into unit uh, 127 on 3rd Street, the next street over, which at the time, 3rd Street was a one-way, halfway up the street, and it was a two-way at the intersection. So you'd always see people driving the wrong way up the street. And after the High River flood in 2013, they finally fixed that issue. Like, hello, town of High River. But at any rate, fun times seeing people go backwards up the street. uh, but yeah, so then after the High River, yeah. So I was saying when we went from the flea market, that was just a move to a building, so a new location. And then from the back alley location, the next new location was across the street on a main street. And again, it had we actually had a huge store originally, and then we had to split it in half because, again, the rent issue. Uh, but again, we had the store windows, so it was always nice to set up a display in there, and model kits and all the rest. And then we had the High River flood, so we had to go out of that location, and that's when I ended up in the basement of my house having a little store there, mainly because any of the zoning for stores and businesses was right out the window after we got like 5 to 15. or 10 feet or whatever it was of water everywhere. So I went to the town and I said, look, this is a situation. My store was completely destroyed. And can I run out of my business out of my basement since there are no um, regulations? So they agreed to it. So I was able to run out of the business until they set up these sprung structures, which were like these little dome tent things. And we all of us that got affected in the flood had businesses in there for about a year. And actually, it was less, like 6 months. And then we moved into the location that we had for the last 7 years, which was Unit 42B, 11th Avenue Southeast. So once we were in there, we were there 7 years. And of course, now we've got the whole pandemic going on. So it's really hard to afford the rent in that building when no one's coming in and shopping anymore because everybody is afraid of the pandemic kind of thing, right? And losing their jobs because of the pandemic. And again, it's almost like the recession years when buying this was not quite as important as buying bread. So I kind of suffered there, but I survived. And this is the whole point of all this. Monster Hobbies is still surviving. Again, this is like the High River flood where I'm at home online with trying to see at the flood time. I didn't really have a website. I did. I did have a website. It was from Free Webs, which just became Webs because the free part was somehow kind of bad for their business model, I guess. But with Free Webs, it was more like a kind of a vintage style website where it was like, "Hi, I've got a picture of this, everybody. Take a look at this picture of this. Oh, now my dog is chewing my furniture. Click, there's a picture. I'll put that on my Webs website." So I took the Webs website and I turned it into, as best I could, a business website. But again, they didn't really have, oh, there goes my elbow. They didn't really have a business platform. So I made do with the best I could. And then when I had the the store here just recently, we were doing slot car racing, which again is another sad thing that I had to shut down due to pandemic. And now I guess I won't say forever, but until I can get another store location, because where am I going to set up four by eight tables in a building with a roof over everyone's heads so that the track doesn't get soaking wet so we can run slot cars? Well, it's not in my backyard and it isn't in my basement. Oh, and with the insurance now, I can't have people coming to the house like I did in 2013. And I don't really want people coming to the house like I did in 2013 because, well, it's kind of weird. And not only that, I mean, we don't have a basement walkout. If we did, different story, right? So no, people have to tromp through my living room to get to my stairs to go down to the basement. So forget that. Muddy boots and all, right? Like, and then everybody going, oh, look, he's got, however many cubic foot size TV or something. I don't think any of my customers would do that, but if you get somebody brand new, I don't know. you know, uh, what do they say? Girl can't be too careful in this city. I don't know. Not that I'm a girl, but I don't know. That's the saying, isn't it? Well, whatever. Anyway, so being online is a whole new game. And what's nice about it though is, see, another problem with the store is if I did sell something like this and I had a listing online, it may be about a month or two before I actually get the online listing removed. But now with Monster Hobbies Online, you can buy this, use your PayPal, or I still have my credit card terminal. I can process the credit card. I can't really do Interact because this is not mobile. So again, somebody has to come inside the house. Eh, I guess I could get the Square, but more things to pay for. Anyway, so I can still do all the online sales and we ship all the way around the world. I just made a shipment off to Italy not too long ago, just sort of right after all the, well, moving in back home kind of happened. And again, we were out of commission for about 15 days trying to get TELUS to hook up the old telephone here and the internet. So all of that is now solved. Most of the bugs are out. I just have to continually upload onto www.monster-hobbies.ca. And really, A lot of the things are not too hard to get up there. What's slowing me down is Magic the Gathering cards. Now, I have some here. So, Magic is a card game that all the kids play, well, even some adults. And that, of course, is a card game where you're supposed to be a wizard and your opponent is a wizard, and the deck cards are all spells, monsters, enchantments, on and on. And you have 20 life, and he has 20 life. And through all these little magic spells that you're casting using mana, which is like the kind of the money system to cast spells, because like each one, let's see how this works. See, there's like a three and then a little forest. So the forest means you need a green mana card and three colorless or other forests or other color cards you have. So this would cost four to cast this card, and then it does its thing. So you're trying to nail off each other's, 20 life by sending creatures and spells and all this stuff at each other. So again, a fun game. And the only problem is when it comes to putting those cards on the website, is that each set of those cards has between 150 to 390 cards per set. Now, I have all the cards in binders, and some binders I have two sets in there, and I have, ready? 56 binders full of these cards, plus boxes and everything else that might be behind me in the background. So it takes me 3 days or more to put one binder of magic cards on the web. And that's basically like 8 hours of this card, next card. And because it's on the internet, you need a picture of each of the cards so that somebody that wants to buy it or is interested can see the card and or the model, or so you're going on and on. And then Games Workshop product like Warhammer, they of course have five or I'm allowed 6 pictures on the website per product. And on the Games Workshop one, 5 of those or 6, you're playing with all pictures, 6, because you've got the box itself, which is the one they're going to see when they want to shop. And then when they go into investigate, they've got the back of the box, the figures, the what else is on there? Like more close-ups of the figures and stuff like that. Oh, and the start collecting boxes are the ones that have the most because they will have 4 different model types in there. So a hero, a unit of troops, a big monstery creature, and maybe something else like archers or something, right? So you need a picture of each of those 4, plus the front of the box and the back of the box. So there's all your 6 gone. And again, it's finding all these pictures or scanning them in the scanner and all the rest. So you're talking like a good couple of hours loading and uploading. So Magic Card's taken me 3 days to put in a binder. And so far I've got about maybe 8 binders online. Oh, and then there I can also make up like a double share. So if a card is from this set, but it's foil plated because those are the more collectible versions of the same card. So you can have like one that's a giant and another that's the same card that's foil plated of the same giant. So I've got a folder where I can just say, okay, this one is foil, even though it's in this set, make it go up in the foil binder as well. So I've got one that's sort of a cheat, but that's a foil binder. And then the rest are all just the regulars. So again, but model cars, that one was easy because I only have about a dozen left in my inventory. So again, putting those up, no problem. And what I want to try to do is now I've got two monetized YouTube, well, a monetized YouTube channel and an almost monetized second YouTube channel, and I've got Patreon. So those 3 little tiny sources of income are kind of helping me to build it up. And then I want more people to come over and at least take a look at www.monster-hobbies.ca so that they can see the other things we have to offer, and then I ship out through Canada Post. I don't have any of the paints or glue on there because I need to contact UPS, and then that becomes like fill out this hazardous materials bill because if it's paints and you know, Lord knows they drop somebody's barbell on top of it and it shoots paint all over the inside of the van or whatever, they will know not to put the paint where a barbell's going to fall on it or something like that. Or if, somehow this is flammable material. So let's say like a tube of glue I'm shipping to somebody, and I don't know. Let's say that there's a heater inside the truck that's like one of those open elements. It's got like you plug it in and then the wires turn all nice and red and hot. Like if that tube of glue blows up, they got to know. So, of course, again, hazardous materials. So now we're going into a whole new shipping label. And Canada Post will not ship hazardous materials. It's not in their policy. So I have to find a UPS. So to save myself the hassle, my 9 million paints that are sitting on the paint rack are just going to hide in the basement until I can figure out how to put them online and if it's even worth doing that. Anyway, it kind of makes for a complicated thing because I'm trying to sell model car kits. And if somebody goes, well, can I get the paints and glue? I have to say no. So, uh, the joys of being an online business. This is the stuff they don't teach you in business school. This is a school of hard knocks. Anyway, again, so I've been talking for 36 minutes and 17 seconds here. So I will just, for all, I see there's 6 people now that have joined. So thanks very much for tuning in. So what I want to say once again for these new 6 is thank you for subscribing. Oh, Peter is asking what brands of paint I have. So I have testers in the old square bottles, as well as all the Citadel Games Workshop paints. Well, not all, because that's like a rainbow of 6 million, but I at least have the rack, and there was holes in the rack, but I can always get more because I still have my Games Workshop status. And now, so if you want the hobby paints, you have to go on my website, and I've got my phone number there, which is the business number. So, phone me not at some crazy time like 4 a.m. or something, like the normal old store hours. So from 10 to 6 Alberta time. Somebody thinking, oh, yeah, I'll just phone from jolly old England at 6. It's 6 o'clock on my watch. No, it ain't. Okay. But anyway, compensate for like speaking 6 hours backwards. But uh, yeah, just phone. What I've been doing is I've been meeting up with people at the Tim Hortons in High River at the North End because, like, my wife works for Wendy's. I wish I could say she was like the consultant head, whatever, but no, she's a fry cook working on the grill. Yes, we're Generation X. Remember us? We were the McDonald's generation. Well, my wife advanced to Wendy's. Yeah, and we're all like in our late 40s. Uh, yeah, anyway, no, all joking aside. So she has a car because we only have one vehicle, which is nice because hey, I get free advertising because it's all stickered up, sitting there at Wendy's all day long. I actually got some customers that were like, "Hey, I saw you Wendy's." It's kind of cool. I might have to ask her boss if I can get a job at Wendy's. We'll see how all this internet working goes. But at any rate, yeah. So I can walk over to the Tim Hortons, so it's not having people at the house, which gets my insurance all woo. Yeah, because okay, so I'll get to that in a minute. So it takes me about 15 minutes to walk over to the Tim Hortons, and then oh, it's got a lot of Citadel. Hey, thanks Dojo for congratulating me on the 1,000 subscribers. And yeah, Peter, yeah, I can. Uh, hoping you have. Oh, Floquil stock. Yeah, I don't have any of that. Oh, you know what I do have that is testers that's old, outdated. Well, not really outdated, but no longer carried, is I still have a little collection of the Model Master stuff, but I haven't sorted that out yet. I've only sorted out the square bottles because somebody wanted to buy some, so I had to set up my rack. Oh Lord, those racks. I'll tell you, they're all sitting in my backyard. And if I go to put them in the house, they're about 10 feet tall and take up, maybe 2.5 feet wide or something. I don't know where I'm going to put the racks. So all my paints are nicely stuffed in boxes from when we had to move out. And my kids did that. They did their best, but expect like four colors here and the other two over there and kooky stuff. So again, something to figure out. And again, trying to put all this online and trying to figure out what to put online where and at what time and who wants what. That's a whole mystery. I'm kind of going down a list of what I think I should be putting in next, and then somebody will phone and say, "Do you have any Plastruct?" Oh, and speaking of Plastruct, I uploaded all of those. They're all now online, and that was a lot. I think I have about 260 items there. I also have a metal rack that needs to be up there, and oh no, not Plastruct, evergreen styrene, and then I have a Plastruct one that needs to be done. Trying to do this in between filming videos and everything else. But at least now everything is in one spot, including me. So that's always good. I knew I was going to talk about something. What was it? The paints. We're talking about paints, glue. I don't know. Yeah, and that's another little dangerous thing. I had hardly any plastic model cement in the store when we closed the doors, so I'm going to be building all my models using what I have left of my own personal opened glue, half squished out tubes, and that'll be interesting. Yeah. And the only way to get glue is to buy a big box from my wholesaler, which costs quite a fair deal of money. And if I'm here alone and can't sell glue online, well, but what I'm thinking of doing is so in the future for Monster Hobbies, we're going to be going online and I'm going to be waiting out the rest of this pandemic stuff because actually, I think all this moving out of that building and everything was really at the right time because here we are sitting in a pandemic and it seems like the rules are changing all the time. So just before we were leaving the building, I looked at Facebook sort of one last time before we unhooked the computer. And what I noticed is that there are a ton of hobby shops that I watch their Facebook page. I'll check on your website from time to time. Watch your channel. Yeah, thanks, Peter. Watch it a lot. I need many, many eyes. I need 1,000 views on every video to make my $2 or whatever they're going to pay. Yeah, I figured that out. Um, oh yeah, now I lost topic. I should write these things down next time. Future monster hobbies. So the idea is that we're going to try to work solely on the web. And then if things start to get better and like this whole pandemic thing goes away and like people get vaxxed and whatever else they have to do to make this thing disappear, then I will consider reopening a brand new store. It's no longer going to be in High River because I think we basically gave it enough with all the moving and relocating and everything in the past. That's just no longer viable down here. We had the High River flood. We lost a whole bunch of people out of that. The pandemic is keeping a whole bunch of people gone. And not only that, when we started our business back, moved down here in 2005, we watched so many businesses around town that went along for a while and then had to close their doors. And then new ones that came in lasted maybe a couple of months, had to close their doors. Stores that lasted about 20 years that had to close their doors. And it's just, there is not enough people in this community. Now, High River is growing, it's on the move, but to make it sustainable, we've already been here 16 of our 17 years in business. When is it going to hit? Like whenever. Actually, to be honest, before the High River flood came, in the newspapers, the town was considering going up the next step from becoming a town to whatever was next. I looked it up one time, but I forget. It's not a small city, but it's sort of like something there just before small city status, before medium-sized city, before large city, right? So they were going up that next rung of the ladder. And then we got nailed with the flood, and everybody moved and went back east or wherever they were from and all the rest. And that was it. Yeah, Peter knows small town stores are tough. So my next location I'm thinking of is Okotoks. It's the next town up.
And that is where people from High River go to shop, and people from Calgary come down because it's not as far as High River. So if I can, I would really love to go to Elizabeth Street because Elizabeth Street has what I want. And the last Monster Hobbies, it was upstairs, it was in the industrial zone, and yeah, we were above a paint shop originally and a doctor's office. The doctor moved out. Then that building sat empty for a long time. And then a woman that has a nail salon went in there. And of course, when people come in her store, they're like, hi, super loud. So I can hear that all the way up. The staircase does not help like seniors and people with, uh, disabilities, like walking or in a wheelchair or something like that. So it's not conducive to have half of my customers. And of course, like Peter says, being in a small town, you don't have very many customers. So that business alienated half. Being in the industrial zone, it's not a path people normally take. So visibility was low, rents were high. And then the paint place went away. And of course, we were getting like lacquer fumes and everything coming right upstairs. So imagine that on a hot, sunny day or in winter when you can't open a window. And then after they went, a body shop came in. So you get ding, 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 pound, pound, pound all day long. And yeah, stores in Strathmore are bad. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that was the other thing I was saying. So I got to check Facebook before we moved out. And all the hobby shops in Calgary were saying, oh, brand new COVID restriction. So now we can no longer play games again because in summer, uh, our PM, Jason Kenny, wanted everybody to go to Stampede. So he said, hey, everybody, we'll get everyone to Stampede and, the get your shot or whatever. And now it's the summer that's sort of COVID free, what? And then after that, it was like, hey, wait, it ain't the summer that's COVID free. So now everybody needs to wear masks again because, hey, our outbreaks went back up. So, I mean, I don't know if we can blame anybody or it's just I'm not even wanting to blame anybody. It's just this is history now. This is what happened in our summer. We had code restrictions drop and then come back on again. So as we were trying to move out of the building and I was checking the last of the Facebook, it was like, hey, we can no longer run Magic the Gathering tournaments at Sentry Box or play them unless everybody goes into this special room and we keep track of everybody that entered the room and we get their phone numbers and we ask them for their vax papers and on and on and on. Then you can play cards with each other. But if somebody gets sick, we have everybody on record that we can do, and it's just like, oh my goodness. I'm glad that the doors got closed when they did because now it's a logistical nightmare just to have people shop in your store. Forget it. And people are getting upset. They don't want to, welcome to my restaurant. Do you want to sit down? Well, let's see all your paperwork and your driver's license and your blah, blah, blah. And, I don't mind if that's the new rules of the game. Here it is because I got my two shots because my mom's a senior. So you want to, I want to help my mom. So anyway, I have all my paperwork, but still it's like, God, again, and I'm a scout leader. So when we go to the scout meeting, the woman comes out with a clipboard, the scouter. I mean, it's nobody's fault. We're all doing our job, but it's just we've all had enough of it. And they ask, well, did you do your COVID self check? I don't think anybody's done their COVID self check since like they started doing the COVID self check in the end of 2020. But anyway, we all say, yes, we're fine. And we are fine. But it's still like, and then we got to take the paper out. Then we got to get the phone number. Then we got to, if somebody is sick, it makes sense. But if no one's sick, it's like, come on. Anyway, we're all sick of it. But still, I mean, it's the rules of the new game. So might as well play if you want to stay, right? Anyway, so yeah, I'm kind of glad that I'm just sitting at home and I can put this stuff in a box at Canada Post, put on my gloves, drop it in the box, wash my hands of it, let Canada Post deal with it, and that's about it. So once all this is done, getting back to this, what my time now is to try to get these, like, what do they call them? The side hustle or whatever the kids call them now. So that's like my YouTube paying me for making you guys videos, memberships. If you guys want to get into memberships, I'll open that up when that's happening. Like $2 a month to get some extra videos, maybe some Danny the dog bloopers, or I don't know. What do you guys want if I do, um, if I offer memberships? Do you want to see like these blooper segments that I'm cutting out where I'm like, in some of my videos, I accidentally left some in. I think the 71 Dodge or Plymouth has me going, okay. Like my friend James, he caught a bunch of them. I caught a bunch of them. I didn't catch them when I was editing it. I caught them when I was in the premiere with you guys talking. So I do something like, imagine this is that, where I have the camera overhead. I put the thing down and I'll say, today we're going to be looking at what is this model again? Oh, okay, it's the Lotus. Okay, so then okay, today we're going to be looking at the Lotus Super 7. I cut out the part where I made the mistake usually, but in some of those videos I didn't catch it because I think I made the mistake 4 times. So I edited the 3 bad ones out, thinking that the 4th was the right one, and then I kind of just skipped ahead to the next one because I needed to edit in a hurry. So all of a sudden I got all these bloopers in that. But I do have the full bloopers if you guys want to see that. I don't know. Bloopers are kind of a meh kind of thing. I think you guys want to see me pull out some secret model that nobody else can see. And then I'm like, hey, I'm unboxing this. This is like, what my dad has? I'll probably be inheriting this thing because he passed away in 2019. But again, with the COVID, can't get out to BC to visit my mom. And with lack of funds, can't get out to BC to visit my mom. And with other things going on, can't go out. I had the money saved up to go visit my mom, and then we had to close our store. Guess where that went to? Bills. Anyway, he's got a Maxwell, the original Revel, not entirely plastic Maxwell, was made out of balsa wood, and you carved that thing, and then you put the wheels on it, which were plastic, and the radiator was plastic, and the something else, and the roof was cloth. He's got it. He built it up. Oh, Pete built that one. Cool. Yeah, he built that up a long time ago, and I guess I'll be inheriting all the guy stuff from my dad, and my sisters will be inheriting when my mom passes all the girl stuff, which is like her Timothy Dalton collection and all that, because they collected all this stuff. I don't know where I'm going to put it. I got I got enough stuff from closing down the store choking me out in here. I've got like pathways around my house this big before you're hitting a box on either end. Sometimes. Oh, I when when I was moving some stuff around here, I had to jump over a box, and my second toe from my big toe went underneath when my foot went down. And I put my full weight, and I'm 220 pounds. I wish I could lose some of this. Put it all on my foot, and my toe went underneath. I don't know if I broke it or sprained it, but man, that hurt for about 2 weeks. Anyway, that's so how am I getting this stuff from my dad in here? I have no clue. The guy had a full wood workshop in the basement, built the house in 1959 with the 1959 mentality of, hey, we need a 600 square foot of basement to plain wood and make bookcases and everything for the house. Can't seem to get my workbench clean enough. Yeah, I know what you mean, Peter. I'm trying to do this in a little place that's like tiny. Hey, Big Charlie, how's it going? Hey, Big Charlie, we're doing the Charlie's Angels unboxing in like 2 Fridays from now. Just got to ask you, are those your angels? Big Charlie's Angels. He wishes they were his angels. His wife would not approve. Anyway, oh boy, get in trouble there. Oh yeah, oh look at that, 54 minutes. I was trying to do a live stream for an hour. I didn't know if I was gonna be able to do this because I thought I'd be running out of ideas the moment I said we still got to see this maybe at 1,500 subscribers. But I guess I made up enough silly stuff you guys wanted to hear or didn't want to hear. Oh yeah, so if I get memberships, just let me know maybe on that community tab what you guys might want to see. I'll put a post up there too. Yeah, what to do, even what to talk about with live streaming. It's the whole new universe for me. All I want to do when I grab the mic is sing like. Yeah, back in the 90s, karaoke was starting off and was pretty big. It was kind of fun. Man, I miss sometimes being like in my stupid 20s, because you could go dance at a bar, maybe meet some girls or something, have like 20 beers, take the bus home, especially living in Vancouver, BC. That was always great. Take the C bus across, have a few beers, meet people, dance, sing. So then when I grabbed this mic, I'm like, huh, okay. So what do we got? Well, I just did the Charlie's Angels van, filmed that, and we saw that we have the Charlie's Angels uh, CDs, right, from the movie, because the movie came out in 2000. It had Cameron Diaz in it, right? So, oh, they had Brandy on there. That was it. So when I was filming this, I kept thinking like, Brandy, you're a fine girl. What a good wife you would be. It's like, I can't sing. What the hell? The sailor said, Brandy, you're a fine girl. Oh, Lord. Peter is saying live stream is going good. You may want to join in on some of the other live streams like John Poles. Yeah, I'm going to have to figure out how to do that. Like a long time ago, I did belong to a group where they were like doing the live streaming on YouTube. Most of the people talked in the side box like you guys are doing. I didn't have this equipment to do that, so I had to talk in the side box, but they were able to almost like when we were in Scouts and they had the Zoom meetings. So somebody would jump in and then you'd see them in the window over here. You'd see their picture and they'd talk for a bit and then the camera would go in and out. And as soon as somebody talked, it would flip to the next guy and give them the full screen. So I'd kind of like to do that. But again, I don't know if I have that set up. And I don't know if I could do it here on mine because I think you need some software that allows the camera to flip to the other guy and allow two people to talk and all that. I don't know. I don't know if that's included in this YouTube package or not. I guess maybe I can Google that. Yeah. But anyway, what else? I wish I could like pull this camera down to the basement and be like, hey, everybody, take a tour. But it's mounted on a tripod and so's the mic. And it's only got like a 6-foot cord here from the USB port. So imagine, hey, everybody, and boom, goes all black. And I can't really, I wonder, can I? No, I don't want to muck with the camera here. I do have all my built models sitting on my shelves up here, which would be nice if I could just take the camera off the tripod and be like, hey, and then go up on the shelf and like go cut across. Damn, I'm tempted. I, I think I cross-threaded this thing because the thread is not right. I do have a tap and die set in the basement. Let's see what I can do. Oh, this is where the live stream is gonna go bad. Aha! All right. Hey, look at this. Woo, so we've got, oh, you see this mirror here? Of course you do. I'm pointing the camera right at it. This mirror is actually the top portion of a Model T with glass inside. You can see the brass there. I'm not sure the year. I think maybe like the 1908 series. Uh, okay, that sounds good, Pete. I'll have to take a look at that later. Anyway, my grandma. Oh, there we go. Oh man, hurts my arm holding this up. Okay, my grandma, she gave me this. Now, my grandparents were born in like the late 1800s, early 1910s, up to maybe 1900s up to 1910. So my grandma was like a flapper back in the 20s. And she met my grandpa, whoops, at that time. There goes my telephone. Just knocked it over with the camera cord. But they had a 26 Essex. And hey, OG Garage, how you doing down there? They had a 26 Essex. And this is, of course, not the windshield from that. This is Model T. But I've got the Jordan miniature of that in HO scale, and you build that thing the same way you build a 1/25th scale model, only the wheels are like, God, the size of buttons on your coat, really tiny. So anyway, they gave me, well, when they passed away, they gave me this mirror, which is pretty cool. It's pretty wide too, maybe about 3, 4 feet wide, however wide the Model T was. Remember, Henry had this, like he didn't want anybody getting into hanky panky in the back seat of a Model T, so he designed it especially narrow so that people were shoulder to shoulder. I don't know if you guys know that. So, and the other thing that I found out about that, the width of the Model T. Now, for you guys tuning in from Australia, if that, if I even have anybody tuning in from Australia, I watched a documentary on the Model T in Australia, and they said that the horse and buggy, because in Australia the roads when it rains they get super muddy. They said that the Model T was the only car that could get through the mud because the horse-drawn wagons and ox carts that were going down the roads at the time carved in wheel paths in between the mud. And the only car that had the same width as those carts was a Model T. So other things like a Buick or an Essex or something like that would have one wheel in the wheel track and the other one sticking up on top of the mud. And there's actually footage of that, old films, 35 millimeter black and whites, where that other car is like the people are leaning over at about a 45-degree angle or more, almost falling out of the car trying to go down the road through the oxen mud cart tracks. Anyway, over here. Now, when my grandpa passed away when I was about a year old, so I never knew him. But of course, he was Romanian descendant. He was born in Romania and came over with his dad in 1911 or something like that. And they had a farm out in Regina, and then they moved over to BC. My grandpa became a house builder, built the Dees Tunnel and a bunch of those other things that are out there in Vancouver now. Anyway, he had a collection here of Romanian newspapers that were printed in America. So on one side is Romanian and on the other side is English. So when they sold my grandma's house, um, that's where that inheritance came from that's now long gone. There was a big pile of these Romanian American newspapers. And I don't know if you can see that too well, but that one on the wall is from 1947, the year after World War II. And it's got all these kind of things. There's a little picture in the corner at the bottom, and it's like Romanian guys playing chess somewhere in Milwaukee or something, and tells you how they did and all this kind of stuff, and who's the ambassador of Romania was at the time, Richard Franasovic. Oh, sorry, Franasovici, I guess. And that was a statement he made. I had these framed, so I can't open up the other page, but I got them there. There is one that I have that actually shows a kid building a model airplane. It's pretty cool. And then over on this side is that is a pre-World War II poster that I picked up at the one of the military shops up here in Calgary, and that is for the what's the plane called? Oh, the Polikarpov I-16. And that was a special fighter that fought in the Spanish Civil War. That's what it was. Just prior to World War II starting, the Russian test ground against the Messerschmitts. Okay, so now what you really want to see, check out that shelf. Now, my dad built the bottom portion of that in his wood shop back in BC, and then later built the top part, which never did get stained. But look at how many cars I have across the top there. This is my collection from when I was 8 until now. One of them's a radio. See the bronze plated, what is it? The Rolls Royce sitting beside the Pacer there. Sorry, my arm just can't do this. Oh, Lord. Ah, man. Oh, look, there's my screen upon a screen upon a screen upon a screen. Okay, anyway. And there's the other shelf. Oh, sorry. So what's on this shelf is stock Now, I do have more in my bedroom, but I can't get there. I don't have a 65-foot long cord on this camera, so maybe I'll film that as a separate YouTube video one day. Now, look at all the Corvettes along the bottom. So the plan there. Now, I was around when Corvette hit 50 years. That was the anniversary thing. So my plan was to build all these years of Corvette, one of each year, in the original white paint job with the red interior. Now, that was, of course, to celebrate the original Corvette, which, of course, in 1953 was polo white with a red interior. So I wanted that continuation of all this stuff. Oh, man. And on the shelf above are the Corvettes painted in, of course, other colors. I've got the Mako Shark or Mako Shark up there, the first one. I've got number 2 from MPC, but I don't know if you guys built that thing. You know, it's a nightmare. I kind of got halfway through and then couldn't figure out how to get the front hood on it. And then up above is all my Chrysler AMC and Independence. So Studebaker is in there. Boy, the way I hold this camera. Packard is in there, Studebaker is in there, Chrysler Corporation, AMC. I did a PT Cruiser once, and you can't tell. I That was when I started to get really good at model building in the late end of the 90s, actually early 2000s, just when I was getting married here before I had kids and a hobby shop and no time on my hands. Um, that PT Cruiser, I know many people aren't into these things, but I went to the car dealership and I got all their promotional material and I studied it and every emblem and every little bit, I painted it to match the promo, the photograph. And when you take a picture of it in the right circumstances, you don't know that it's a model. It looks like the real car. Here, let's switch arms here. Okay, do crossover. Sorry for the jerky camera. There's a jerk holding it. No, just kidding. Up here somewhere, one of the models that I want to show is a 1957 Chrysler 300 from AMT. Where is it? Okay, it's not up there. It's got to be. Oh, yeah, it is. What am I talking about? It's right beside the Johan one. Oh, you just can't see it because I can't get my arm in there. Hey, Big Charlie. Uh, Now that Chrysler, here, just there. That Chrysler 300, that was amazing because I built it the first year it came out, and there was a car contest from our model car club up in Calgary. Which, hey, on Saturdays I can join that group again, which would be nice, provided the wife doesn't have our one and only car. That's the Tabletop Model Car Club in Calgary. Anyway, they used to have contests, and then they stopped doing it because people got upset or something. It was kind of dumb. Uh, the contest wasn't dumb, but what happened, the reason why we couldn't do the contest became dumb. Actually, I know what it was. It was we did the World of Wheels contest, model car contest there. And the guys in the club, of course, were entering the contest and everybody else. So when it came time for trophies, um, a lot of the people in the club got trophies and a lot of normal people got trophies. But then a lot of people were complaining because the club members were entering their models and getting trophies. So it became a conflict of interest bunch of silliness. And then they couldn't do the contest anymore. Oh, yeah. And so on this shelf here are all the custom cars and the service utility vehicles I built, things that won't fit on the other shelf. So, like Ghostbusters with the gigantic stuff on the roof, that's not going here because all the stuff on the roof will get crunched off. So it's got to go over there on the top where I've got a good couple of feet above the ceiling. I don't know if you can see how well my dad made those shelf brackets. He used to whittle into the corners and everything, lots of chisels and whatnot. So, hello to all the 7 people watching, and thanks for the 6 likes. 6 SIX. There's my CDs. It's funny. I've got so much old technology in here. I bet if I threw it out or sold it, I'd probably get about another 10 feet in the whole place. Oh, yeah. So there's all the books that used to be on the bookshelf at the store. I mean, you can see my life is shambles. Anyway, there's my workout bench. I should use that. I'm talking about my 220 pounds. Okay, now what? I got to figure out how to get this camera back up here. There we go. Now, whoops, where are you going? See, if this thing was actually had the right thread on it, this would not be happening. Oh, okay. Well, there's my phone. If you want to phone Monster Hobbies, do it on this one. It's got the logo on the back so that we know. So I don't say hi, mom, when the phone rings and it's a customer, or vice versa. There's my car keys. Oh, this is my scout knife. Okay. Now we're getting into the dumb part of the stream. This is like Saturday Night Live at after 12 o'clock when it's like the 12 p.m. to 1:30 portion. Oh, sorry, no, the 1 o'clock to 1:30 portion of Saturday Night Live. You have just tuned into that. Hey, BK Butch, how you doing? Okay, so now, Butch, you're at the silly part of my live stream. This is like the Saturday Night Live segment from 11 or from 1 o'clock to 1:30. When all the good jokes that got put up front have been done, and now we're getting into the dumb stuff. So welcome to the dumb stuff. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, this is my scout knife. I got it in 1986. It's still got it. Well, you're not going to see it because it's so shiny, but it's actually been inscribed up there with my initials. Still works. And one of the guys at Scouts, he calls this my butter knife because, well, there's the blade, and it doesn't really get sharpened too much, even though I've got my uncle's old sharpening stones. It doesn't see enough action, but it can open a letter. So there you go. Whoops. Tootsie Rolls from Halloween. My kids don't like them, so guess who gets to eat them? Dear old dad. Yeah, so we got some guys in the chat there. So yeah, good to see you, BK. Come on, stop running away, camera. Let's just, here, hang. Let me batten down the hatches. Okay, where's that screw in the back? It's still gonna walk. Walk like a man. There we go. Yeah, this is surreal because I'm trying to see a camera here, trying to read a screen there, trying to talk in a mic down here, and my eyes are over there. So if you don't mind the not so personal looking you in the face touch, that's what's happening. Hey, oh yeah, look back here. So I've got a Brownie Hawkeye camera in the box, and I've got the old stand for making title cards using your Super 8 camera. Right in the middle is a little cheap Chinese camera a customer gave me that worked really well for like maybe a week before it went boing and died. And then back up here, I've got a Hawkeye Brownie camera, my old 35 millimeter camera, slide projector, and up there is one of those old copy projectors. Did any of you guys have one of those? Used to be able to put a picture underneath, like maybe this, and then you could cast that, pardon me, about 40 feet away onto a big piece of paper. And that's what we used to do. And we used to trace the image you liked onto a piece of paper. Probably have some of those somewhere. And that was really hard because you were going up against a straight up and down wall, this projector. And as soon as you stood in front, it cast a shadow over what you're trying to draw. So you have to draw like over here with your body outside of that. Or you had to kind of figure out where the shadow was going to fall. So you would study the image and then you go, okay, now I got my pencil. Okay, I'm ready. So then you'd kind of go and you'd try to think where the line was until you hit your shadow. And then you'd be okay, but I know the line goes a little more. And then you'd step back and then get your shadow out of the way, and the picture would come back and you'd see your pencil going 4 feet in to where you thought the picture was. This is okay for any of you, like the millennials and Gen Z coming in and watching this, or maybe like some of you boomer guys that were at work when Gen X was kids and figuring all this out. This is what we had to do if we wanted to do stuff. It was hard and complicated, but we got the job done. Trying to use, maybe put this car here on a big piece of paper using that projector from 50 feet away in pitch dark in your house, in your basement, and hope no one opened a window and cast a white light on it, or hope you didn't step in the shadow and put a shadow over your drawing as you were trying to draw. Man, we did a lot of crazy things like that. I don't know if that's considered crazy. Like maybe like running through the neighborhood with a chainsaw on would be more appropriate for being crazy, but I don't know. No, it was kind of Gen X, before we had the internet, before we had a printer, before we could scan this in on our printer and then enlarge it and have it print out, sucking up all your color in your printer onto a 8 by 10 piece of paper or whatever. We would actually put up the 8 by 10 piece of paper on a wall and use that projector right there and stick it underneath and adjust the lens in and out, making it come back in and out until it got into a sharp focus, only to have the lens heat up enough to go "Bleh," and then make it sort of like what my camera's doing right now. You see this flexing around the screen edges? That's what that thing did with a piece of paper. See, it just moved again. The 35 millimeter um, yeah, slide projector. See, there's the slides there. That would also flex in and out. But I've got some good slides in there. I got to get the rest of the collection from my parents when I go out there maybe one day. I don't know, unless my sisters want it. But I've got some of the Haunted Mansion, Disneyland Haunted Mansion. Do you guys remember that? Like back in the 80s, I used to be able to go into Disneyland and there would be a kiosk booth with things for sale from Disneyland. And they would have a big, long uh, piece of cardboard with all the slides on it. You could get like Fantasyland, Haunted Mansion. Um, God, what else is down there? I haven't been to Disneyland. That's another nice thing I'm thinking about. Thought about it when we were trick or treating. Okay, so now Monster Hobby is going to be online only until like everything settles down, maybe 2 years from now, if I can get up enough money. And so I'm relying on monetized YouTube channels, Patreon accounts, memberships on YouTube, uh, people buying stuff online, of course. And then if that doesn't quite happen, I might have to go get a mech job. But when we were trick or treating with me and the girls, my kids, I was going around and we didn't get very far because it was minus 13 Celsius, which is probably like minus 60 Fahrenheit. I don't know, wherever that freezing point is. And we didn't get very far, but I was looking at everybody. They decorate their houses. Some have like a pumpkin on the step. Woo. And then others are like, the dude's put in about 4 grand, right? Actually, one of the scouters that I do scouts with, he is super big on Halloween. I think he's trying to set a world record for Canada. And oh, cool. Pete's got train slides. Oh yeah, sorting out stuff is always fun. Well, good luck. Anyway, I was looking at all these houses. Oh yeah, that scout leader guy. So he goes all out. He was saying that, hey, thanks for the congratulations, Juovic. Did I get that right, Juovic? Joe. Thanks very much. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for putting up with my struggle on pronouncing your name. And here, my last name is Ursulescu, from the proud clan of the Bear from Romania. We rode from the west and conquered the east, and went from the east and conquered the west. And I can't even say half of your names. That's horrible, man. Anyway, thanks for the congratulations. Halloween decorations. This guy was saying that they bought a cotton candy machine. So cotton candy fluid, I guess, costs $40. So they made 300 bags of cotton candy because the $40 just, they're not going to buy regular candy. They had 400 kids, 399 kids show up their door because this guy, he's got like the dinosaur skeleton things. And the top of his roof, he's got a 2-story house. The top of the roof is the same height as that dinosaur thing. And he's got this great big house, and it's all full of dinosaurs and skulls and skeletons and like witches with their heads that pop off and all this kind of crazy stuff. He has a house that's right where there's like a side street that's a main side street that has like a Max and a gas station and stuff. His house is right on a corner on the same route that all the kids go to school in for the elementary school. So this guy's got like the primo spot to have a Halloween house. So they only made 300 bags and they had 400 kids show up. So they had to stop everything they were doing and whip up another 100 bags for these kids. I'm not that crazy. But anyway, getting back to this whole thing, I was thinking that I was walking around at Halloween and I was thinking about the Halloween slides of the Haunted Mansion. Oh, and the other thing is they're not the normal 35 mil, they're the full frame slide. So those are quite special. They actually used to, my dad had the projector with well, he still got it with the silver screen with the special sparkle stuff on there that makes the slide color of the slide come alive. Like, woo, it's really good. Those slides always used to shoot off the top of the screen edges from the top and the bottom because of that square cut. But the slides had the ballroom scene where they're all dancing on that pepper mirror effect, which is awesome. It had the hitchhiking ghosts at the end, and the guy that plays the organ, and it had the skulls popping off. And that slide projector always made the skulls coming out of the tubes three-dimensional, and that was great. It was like, woo, back in the 80s, that was like the bomb, man. And I don't know what else. I got to take a look through. What I wanted to do is use that slide projector. This is one I bought at a reclaim center. But what I want to do, and I don't have the thing to do it, but I want to do like old school Scooby-Doo. Yeah, thanks. Old school style Scooby-Doo, where it was always like, ooh, they saw the ghost walking around, and then it's like this big elaborate stunt in the cartoon, right? Where it's like the headless horseman ghost gallops through like 30 miles of a field or like down a hallway in a castle, cuts off, I won't say someone's head, but like cuts a curtain in Scooby-Doo, makes a curtain fall and all this. And then at the end of the episode, they're like, oh, he did it with a slide projector. How do you do that with a slide? How do you get something to physically cut in half with a slide image of a guy on a ghost galloping down a hallway? In fact, how do you even get a galloping ghost slide to follow the Scooby-Doo gang through like 15 stories of a house in 1969? I know it's a cartoon, right? Okay, fine. But at any rate, it's like some of this defies logic, Hanna-Barbera. Like, come on, come on, you got like the image would have like blocked out, or it would have just gone right through them, or it wouldn't have even projected the way it was supposed to project, because they're in a hallway and this thing comes right at them from the middle of the hallway. Now, my dad had a slide projector, right? And if you took the slide projector off of from pointing at the screen and you moved it over to point it at the couch or something, right? The image would go to conform to the new surface. And then it would be out of focus, like on the cushions, and then kind of focused here, and then off the edge. So to get something to three-dimensionally project off of one of those in a Scooby-Doo episode in the center of a hallway, and then they used a film projector like for the galloping ghosty thing apparently in the show. So even at that, it would flat wall against something and distort all over the place, and it wouldn't be like I'm standing here and where my camera is, it's like 3D there, and that's physically impossible. But what I'd like to try to do is take those Disney slides, sit this thing in my car, and be in the car projecting this onto a gigantic screen onto uh yeah, like across the wall. Yeah, I know what you're saying there, BK. It's like that's totally illogical, but as for entertainment purposes it would work, right? But and then with our modern thing, like we can green screen. If I had that technology, I'd love to do that too. Man, like it just takes me back to YouTube in the earlier days when guys had green screens and the channel that I wanted to make. But of course, I don't have any of this. I'm using Windows Movie Maker like to edit, like the worst. But anyway, I had power. Power Studio, Power Director. And then the computer that one of my customers gave me that a full laptop with Power Director on it. Man, that was awesome. And then one day I had a power flux and it blew the whole computer to pieces. God, I wish I had Power Director again. I could put titles in there that had the background black on it. So like I could say hello Monster Hobbies and it would be like with the black letters and you could actually see it on me. And the stupid Windows Movie Director just has like one monocolor. So I kind of got to wear my black shirt and post it and hope that someone can read that. It's lame. I could put like 5 tracks in. I could film myself in my camera saying, hello, I'm whatever, right? Or this model car has this engine, right? And I could put that on track 1. I could disappear the actual image and just use the sound clip. And then I could film the voice overlay using Power Director. Well, I can't do that with Windows Movie Maker. It doesn't have the option. Earlier YouTube was better. I remember your old videos where you had 2M or 3M views. Yeah, that was all Power Director. And then it went poof. And now I'm back to Windows Movie Maker. Let's put this in so you can make a 5-second edit of, your dog going woof. Yeah, I don't have a good editor. I guess I could download one if I want to, maybe risk a virus or something. I like the old days when we used to go to a computer store and the thing was on the shelf and you just bought it. And there was no like, would you like to upgrade this thing? Quick download and get your credit card ready. Like, oh man, I hate that. I like the old days, like Egghead Software and Burnaby. Used to go down there and you'd save up like $40. Oh yeah, BK, you got Power Director. It's good. I did download a free version, but it's got the watermark in it. So like I can make like all these amazing videos if you don't mind seeing. Where's my hand now? Power Director sitting right there. It's a watermark. It's like, man, I need money. I need a credit card. Quick, become a member for like $1. Let's get 8,000 members for $1. Then I might actually have a good month in my life. Anyway, oh boy. Boy, I'm talking about everything. I can't even remember what I'm saying anymore. Trying to do Gangster's free version. I never noticed it. Interesting. Have to Google all this. Leave me comments with all these links. I'll check them out. Pepper Ghost effect. I'd love to try to do that. Need like 900 feet of glass, which is high, pretty dangerous. Hey kids, check out this Pepper Ghost effect. Smash. Ooh, he just killed a colony. Anyway, oh boy. Have you ever seen that behind the scenes of the Disney Pepper Ghost effect for Haunted Mansion? It is pretty cool. Everybody is in reverse. They're wearing cellophane that's like colored. They're mannequins, or I guess they're the animatronic guys, same as Pirates of the Caribbean. We are the pirates of whatever. But anyway, I still love that. I got to see that ride again. I got to go. I got to take my kids to Disneyland. Oh, that's what I was saying. When we were trick or treating, I was looking at all these houses, getting all the way back to this topic. Woo, probably 30 minutes ago. When we were trick or treating, I was looking at all these houses and I was thinking of Disneyland's Haunted Mansion. And this kind of brain message from above, or whatever you want to call it, blast of inspiration came in. And I was thinking, my God, I'm not paying that rent on the building anymore. And I've got the website going, which, at any time somebody could buy something. And then I just need to find that and say, hey, do you still want this? And they say, yes. Okay, well, here, ship it. Here's the thing. And then money from YouTube and all the rest. And I was thinking, I've got that in place. I could go out and get a Mick job or whatever. Then I could save up and we could go to Disneyland. And it's like, I haven't been to Disneyland since like 1987. So, and my kids have never been there. I wanted to take them to Disneyland because, kids should, I guess, experience that. Although California, I hear, has become quite the mess. Maybe it would be better to go to Florida or France. Disney France. Actually, the silly part is in Canada, English is the first language, French is the second. And when I grew up, um, so this is like 1980. I'm going to date myself. Don't anybody take my credit card now. Or, like try to vote with my information. Oh boy. Anyway, it was like, oh, lost topic. 1980. Going to Disneyland, was it? I don't know. Uh-oh, I skipped the groove. Got you all wound up and then totally lost my mind. My first and still the first plastic model built was a World War II German plane, and it was not good. Now it looks like an Indian scam. Okay. Actually, that's funny. One of my first models was the monogram Focke-Wulf 190, and that was the 148 scale one in the old box with a picture on it, the hand drawn. And yeah, I've got it. The window is so melted in that thing. I tried to fix it by putting on more liquid glue because I was young. I didn't know. And yeah, it's really foggy on that windshield. But I really wish I had that one again because that was the one that had like 15 different building options. You could build it as a desert fighter. You could build it as, what was it, two machine guns under each wing. You could build it with a bomb rack. You could build it with the big bomb or the multi bombs. Um, you could put the hump on the hood for whatever version that was. I still have the instructions somewhere. And every time I look at that, it's like, God, I wish I had 50 of those because I could build tire squadrons for every place that thing actually flew. And then, yeah. Oh, yeah. And it had the super machine gun thing on it, the wing mounted cannons. What? The language would be the opposite way around if you live in Udemy, Chibugu, Chibu, Gamau, Gamau. Wow. Oh, I was talking about that pepper ghost effect. Yeah, all those robotic guys are moving in reverse, backwards. They're wearing cellophane in different colors. And what else about it? Oh, and it does the same effect as if you make a periscope using mirrors. So you've got one on the bottom going this way, and then one at the top going in reverse. So, or no, maybe it's just one slope. At any rate, all those figures are moving in reverse. They use black lights. The black lights turn. Let me think now. Oh, the furniture is all set up in the part you see. You don't see the ghosts because they're in the pepper ghost effect behind a wall, which faces onto that angled mirror. So all the pepper ghosts are moving backward because the glass is reflecting it in the opposite direction. Looking at BK saying opposite way, reflecting it in the opposite direction. And they are spaced so that they move around the furniture, which is over here. There's no furniture on their side, but the furniture is over here. And then because they're wearing that funny cellophane, when the black light hits it and reflects up against onto the slope, they look like ghosts. So it's a really interesting thing. I wish I could do that somehow. Anybody want to go fund me to make a museum? Because man, I'd just have the best museum ever. It would be all model kit type stuff. It would be like live action figures like Disneyland has it at the animatronic guys. Man, Monster Museum. That would be great. Monster amusement ride. It would be like all the amusement parks that the Scooby Doo gang go into with all the goofy effects and everything. I've been around to a few. The one I like is in Denmark. I had a girlfriend in Denmark in the 90s and went over and saw her. They've got the Tivoli Wax Museum. Now, I don't know if any of you guys have ever been there. Well, leave me a comment. The Tivoli Wax Museum is awesome. They have figures, of course, of wax figures all around the world First time I noticed that or discovered that Denmark had their own version of Laurel and Hardy, and there's wax figures of them standing beside Laurel and Hardy wax figures. It's really cool. And then, of course, every wax museum has the House of Horrors in the basement. They've got like the guillotine and all that. There's another one in Victoria that's pretty good too in BC. And then downstairs, like they got the guillotine, they got the pit and the pendulum cutting the guy in half up the middle. A rear place for Aurora monster model builder guys to go to. And I've got a channel like that too, Monster Hobbies, Monster Model Dungeon. I don't know if any of you guys are on that. Probably Big Charlie, because he's on everything I got. Thanks, Big Charlie. Appreciate it. I need the guys there. I haven't updated that one in a while. If you go north to Delvor and then east to yep. Okay, VK. Every basement has its own horror. Yeah, mine is boxes right now. I need my model room again. But anyway, they have this one ghost at that Tivoli. So you, after you see the upstairs stuff, which is like the safe zone where you got like the Queen and Laurel and Hardy as wax figures and all that, you go down into their Chamber of Horrors basement. So you come down a flight of stairs and then you walk down a hallway and you turn. Actually, it's not a flight of stairs, it's a ramp because, of course, wheelchair access, right? Highway 468, you would go through Chi. They speak no English. Interesting. Anyway, so you go down this platform and then there's another slope and you walk down this long slope and there's really nothing in front of you until it's like a big black wall until you hit the trip sensor. And then when you hit the trip sensor, this ghost on a railing with like a zip line kind of deal comes at you. It's a banshee right out of hell. Gonna put the mic here so maybe you guys can pick this up. Oh. Okay, my mic's going funny, so I'll try to talk loud. This banshee comes right out of hell down this zip line, and it's going, and God, you jump about 900 feet in the air when that thing comes at you. It is great. My girlfriend and I, we freaked out the first time we saw it. And then we thought, let's do it again. So we went back up the ramp. We walked down again, and it scared the hell out of us just as bad the second time around. That's how scary that thing is. So then you, after that, so if I make a museum like that, I want like 4 of those in there. So then after you go around that ramp, you come in and they got the electric chair thing and you can push it and watch a guy get zapped. Then they've got, God, what else was there? I haven't been there since 1999. So forgive me if my memory is rusty, but yeah, they got the rest of that Chamber of Horrors stuff. So that would be part of my museum. The other thing, I've built a lot of monster model dioramas. I'm going to be inheriting my dad's model cars, and he built ships as well. Scratch built them all. Roman galleys with like the cast of 10,000. My dad had the big book of knots. He did all the Navy knots and everything, and he would string them up, all the rigging, and then he'd go to model kit contests and he'd be upset because other guys that didn't know how to rig would win an award and my dad wouldn't for like a model they bought off the shelf. And my dad built this thing, like he's got a vacuum form. He had well, I guess I'll have. It's really crazy when somebody passes away and then it's like, now how do you relate this? We built a vacuum forming machine. I took plastics technology. We built a vacuum forming machine, a little tiny one that we got out of a Fine Scale Modeler magazine from 1989. And I still have that somewhere. Tells you how to do it. So my dad and I, we built it. And it's a ball with a grill on the top with an inlet for your vacuum hose. Then you hook that up to your regular vacuum cleaner. I don't know if you guys have seen these things. You hook it up to your regular vacuum cleaner and then you carve a wooden buck of whatever you want. So for the guy that made the model airplane, now just like me, we screwed up our canopies. So with the vacuum forming machine, you can make a new canopy. You use you get like a Plastrux sheet, clear one, not this big thick monster I just pulled out on here. And you make a wooden frame and you staple that wooden frame down, the plastic to the wooden frame. I really like when you make plastics models on your own, but I'm not really good at it. Well, practice makes perfect. Anyway, so you get the wooden frame and you staple down your plastic to it. And then you carve up a wooden buck that's the same shape and dimensions as your cockpit, and you put that on the grill of the vacuum form machine. So it's got a mesh like this, right? You put that on the grill, and then you've got a open stove element. You can buy these things. I don't know if you can still get them. Maybe at a flea market place or something. I don't know if they got deemed dangerous because you can leave these stupid elements on and then go away somewhere and burn your house down with them. So maybe they stopped making them. I don't know. Anyway, I haven't looked for one. So anyway, you get this open stove element thing, and you don't put the plastic right on top of it, of course, because that's a fire hazard. But you hold the plastic over top of this element, and you turn on the vacuum of your vacuum form box with your wooden buck that you want to duplicate in vacuum form. You put that on there. You turn on your vacuum, and you hold the frame nice and square, flat, level on top of that heating element, and you watch the plastic, and the plastic will sag, and then it gets to a point and it'll start to come back up. As soon as it starts coming back up, you take the plastic and you go whoop right on top of that wooden buck. The vacuum goes whoop, and sucks it right in, forms the wooden buck onto what you need, and then of course you turn the vacuum off because by that time the plastic's cooled down. You go over, you turn off your heating element because you don't want to burn your house down, and then you pull the buck out and you cut around the edge, and then you've got your brand new cockpit. So my dad built fire trucks and everything using his vacuum forming machine, carving up the wooden bucks, sucking the thing down on there, and and then he made like fenders for Model Ts and whatever fire trucks he wanted. He made the hulls of his boats using the vacuum form machine. He did everything. I gave him an airbrush. I He bought me a posh, however you say it, airbrush for Christmas one year for me, and I used it for a bit. I stepped on the big cone and crushed it by mistake. I bent the really tiny, tiny needle because, of course, you take it out of the gun and it's like a risk of bending that. So the only one that yeah, my dad was a draftsman, so he did a lot of this stuff. So anyway, oh, and then one year I cleaned it, and one of the rubber seals inside that airbrush got crooked or some stupid thing like that. So whenever it sprayed, it just went. Man, this microphone's going to get it at the end of the day. So anyway, that's how it worked. So out of frustration, I gave this airbrush to my dad because it was a good one. It had the dual pullback, and there was one place in Vancouver that actually had a airbrush repairman, but we never got it there. So anyway, my dad took this thing. The only cone and needle that were left was the one in the middle ground size one. My dad ended up saying, "Oh, this thing works fine," and then he'd end up painting it all. That's even how he sounded. Oh, there's nothing wrong with this. Oh, that's a perfect tonal match of my dad's voice, which sometimes I use, and I'm like, wait a minute, where's my dad still in the room? How many of you guys do that too? Like, you'll say something your dad said 35, 40 years ago, like just in the natural flow of things. So anyway, he ended up with that airbrush, and apparently it worked fantastic for him. Nah, that's why I use rattle cans. Enough of this. Oh, the nozzle's jammed. Okay, pop, pop, plop. Good. I might have to drill it out every now and again, or dip it in lacquer. Anyway, I don't have quite the thing my dad had of making. Well, maybe I do. Maybe I do because I'm using Windows Movie Maker 7 to edit. I must have his magic. Just not in the same things. Like I couldn't fix that stupid airbrush, but I can do some other stuff. Yeah. Yeah, my dad used to have this, he was a draftsman for the telephone company, and then he had all the woodworking tools and some metal stuff at home, metalworking things, metal lathe and all the rest. So he was an engineer, really. So he would engineer stuff. Sometimes, like most engineers, to the point where you really didn't need him to make something. So one example would be like I had a 70. Oh, there's the phone. I guess I better. Oh, it's my wife. Maybe I should end this live stream. Hello, I'm live streaming. I'm in the middle of a live stream. What did you want to say? Yes, I fed the tortoise the um what do you call it? The pumpkin stuff. Yeah, it said on the thing. And he ate it all. He ate a big whopping thing. Yeah. Okay. Bye. It's almost like Hilarious House of Frightenstein there. Quick question. When did you start to like plastic models? 8 years old. And when did you build your first one? 8 years old. And there's another Gen X thing. So my mom's was I didn't quite have that latchkey kid growing up deal like most of my other Gen X's because my parents were part of the lucky few generation, which were born in that time period after World War One, but before World War Two. So like I guess kids from the 20s and 30s. My dad was born in 32. So that was that those type of people at the time period. So they were the kids that graduated like in 1950, right when it got into that 1950s boom. When money was good and ideas were going and cars had fins and all that, right? So that's when he graduated and got in the work world. And my dad was saying when he was a kid, the big companies would go to the schools in grade 10 and they would say, "Who here wants to work for the telephone company or the whatever company we are? We'll take you right out of school and we'll help you finish your grade 12 in our building as you're helping us with the telephone company or whatever it is." That was a time period. Man, I wish I could be in there. But anyway, there goes my brain out the window again. They were part of that lucky few. So that's what it was. So my mom stayed at home while my dad worked for the telephone company, and my dad's money covered everything, put us through school, the whole deal. So that was sort of his generational thing. But of course, that meant dad wasn't at home, but mom was. Mom didn't know how to build models. So my dad buys this model of it was they were originally the Aurora kits, but then Monogram had them in the 80s. Or was it they were those or the old Aurora supercar models, the opening hood, the opening doors, the opening trunk, and the steering. And it was the not the Messerschmitt, the Maserati. That was my first model that my dad got me. And of course, my dad was going to show me how to build it. Well, that was after he got home from the telephone company at 5 o'clock, after we had dinner at 6, and before I was going to, because I was 8, before I was going to go to bed at like 7:30, 8 o'clock. So guess what? Dad never showed me how to build that thing. I built it myself at 8 with no help, with opening doors, opening hood, opening trunk, steering wheels, possibly a removable top. Guess how it ended up? Welcome to Gen X, everybody. Gen X kids did it themselves. So I pretty much taught myself how to build models because dad was, you know, uh, Saturday, Sunday dad. And I was the excited, want to build it after school kid. So I built it after school without my dad being there. And then I'd say, "Hey, look at this, dad." And he'd go, "That looks really good," So there you go. And I still have that car at home. One of my uncles gave me a SPAD 13 model, I think 128 scale, another Revel one, which again was a built nightmare. And I ended up using the the AMT Diamond in the Rough side panels for the trailer as struts to mount the wing on this Maserati, a SPAD aircraft World War One wing on top of the Maserati, and one got glued to the front fenders. And then I had bottle rockets, and I glued them to the back of the car. And I never did get to blow this thing off with the bottle rockets. God, that would make a YouTube video. Holy smokes. Probably get arrested. Anyway, that's still sitting in BC on my dad's drafting table in the basement with the bottle rockets still stuck on. I hope that gunpowder never goes unstable. Yeah, man, that would make a pretty damn nifty YouTube. Put the title, 47-year-old man lives his dream of launching bottle rocket Maserati. Ah, man, that's funny. How about you guys? What's your first model? Maybe you can write that down. Do you still have the thing somewhere? Ah, man, inheriting so much stuff. We used to build balsa wood airplanes as well, fly those. My dad and I built, we had the Fokker D8, which was the parasol mono wing aircraft. Oh, I got to watch the time here. I got to pick my kids up at 3, 2:30. Maybe I can go a little longer. Maybe I'll just wrap it up on this. We had the Fokker D7 and oh yeah, the Fokker D7, the biplane one, which was a combat fighter, the best fighter of World War One on the German side, and we also had the Fokker D8 with a parasol wing. Too long ago, don't remember. The one with the parasol wing, which was like the last of the Fokker D series before the war ended. My friend used to build tanks. His first was the T-34-85. I've got a couple of those for sale on the website in 72 scale. Actually, I think there's maybe one left. I don't know. Got to check stock. Anyway, so we wanted the triplane, and of course there was no plans for the triplane except for the Gios really big monster one, which we didn't have the money for. But we had money for balsa wood sheets, and I've got some at the store too. I got to put them online. I don't know if I should ship those because anybody sitting on them will bust them in 900 pieces. But well, we'll see. Anyway, so we got good at making the wing formers. My dad he used to take tin cans and he'd cut the wing formers so we could trace them and then make hundreds on the sheets of balsa. So we took the plans from the Fokker D7 and the Fokker D8 for the round body on the D8. And actually, they did this in World War One as well. I found out they made two planes, the Fokker D6 and I don't know if they did the triplane that way, but they did use the body shell of the triplane for the Fokker D8. So at any rate, we took the wings from the D7 and we took the fuselage from the D8. We remade it out of new, fresh balsa wood. We combined the two, and it was the only plane that actually balanced. Because if you ever built the balsa wood airplanes, you had to put the pins right on the strut on the top wing. You put metal pins in there, and then you hold your fingers on the metal pins. And the fuselage you want it to be level like this. If it goes down this way, it's nose heavy, so you got to put weight in the tail. And if it goes this way, you got to put weight in the nose because it's tail heavy. So this balsa wood airplanes, any ones that we built out of the plans, you put the pin test and they'd go. I even had one go like that. So how much weight are you supposed to put in the nose? Well, they were all designed for the Cox 202 aircraft engine, the gas one, and the fuel tank to be right behind it. So they weighted these things like that. So as soon as you put the motor and the fuel tank in, it went where it was supposed to be. Well, anyway, the triplane was the only plane we built, and we built it all out of scratch with plans and whatever from the manufacturers and a little bit of my dad's engineering and all the rest. and that was the only plane that actually balanced. And my dad also hand carved all the propellers. He was that good, and he actually hand carved them so they balanced. And he made the 4 blade, the 3 blade, uh, various 2 blades, everything. Uh, oh, okay. I guess I better end the chat. This is the health. Hello. It is.